All right, now that Mr. Dixon is here, we can officially move forward. It's 2:00 p.m. and we have a quorum present. This is the meeting of the Board of Trustees, Weatherford College. Today is Thursday, December 14, 2017. And we're in the Strain Community Room of the Doss Student Center, located at 225 College Park Drive, Weatherford, Parker County, Texas. And we're about to undertake our agenda on today. Item number 1 on the agenda is the call to order. We are called to order, the invocation and pledge of allegiance. Mr. Baker, will you do those things for us?
Yes, please stand with me. We'll have our invocation first. Please bow with me. Lord, we're very thankful to you for this season. We're thankful for you to all the great things you give us. We're thankful for our family and those who we work with. And you've been very good to this college. We appreciate that very much. We want to acknowledge you this season. In our family time as we go away, please keep us safe, our faculty, staff, students, board, so we can come back and serve you again after the holidays. Pray for Snow Garrett, pray for TASB, all the guests that are with us today. Thank you for including them as well. And thank you for this board. It's in your name we pray. Amen. Amen. Please face the flag and pledge of allegiance. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Thank you.
Thank you.
By the way, I'd like to amend that prayer to be Snow Garrett Williams. Sorry.
And as you can see, we have a new member. He was sworn in last time. This is Dr. Robert Morlett, and we're so pleased to have him on the board and participating. And he truly is going to be a very effective, helpful member of the board. Dr. Morlett, welcome and thank you.
Thank you. It's good to be here.
We're glad you're here. Item number 2 on the agenda is open forum for individuals not on the agenda. Crystal?
We don't have.
You have no one? Thank you. Item 3 is the President's report. Dr. Baker? Mr. Baker, I apologize.
Yeah, thank
I
you.
didn't mean to elevate you. So
No, don't do that. No, thank you very much. I have some recognitions for you and some notifications. First of all, I want to thank Agriculture Director Vance Christie and everyone with that department and who volunteered for our recent Leadership Development Contest here on our campus. 300 students, these are high school students, and their advisors from 28 different schools were here on campus participating in 13 different contests. Our Upward Bound Director, Jeff Calden, I want to recognize him. He's been installed as an officer in a prestigious national organization. Jeff is now treasurer of the Council for Opportunity in Education. This is a nonprofit furthering the expansion of college opportunities for low-income first-generation students and students with disabilities. That organization has more than 1,000 member colleges across the country, and he's the treasurer of the entire organization. On behalf of the Weatherford College Foundation, I want to thank Richard and Nancy Stewart. The Stewarts made another gift to our scholarship endowment this past week. They have given more than $344,000 in the past 12 years, and we appreciate them very, very much. And finally, I want to thank Mrs. Carter, Dr. Marlett, Mrs. McAnally, and Mrs. Morris for attending the Texas Higher Education Leadership Conference in Austin 2 weeks ago with several of us. I know I learned a great deal about the future of higher education in Texas, and we're going to continue to focus on meeting the coordinating board's 60 by 30 Texas goal. And that means looking to having 60% of Texans aged 25 to 34 earning certificates or degrees by the year 2030. Very lofty goal. We're going to be right in the middle of it, doing our part. Those are my recognitions for today. I have 2 employment notices for you. Actually 3. Kylie Studioso, our recruitment coordinator, and Sarah Massengale, secretary for student populations. They have each submitted their resignation to pursue other opportunities. And Terry Brock the secretary to our occupational therapy assistant and physical therapy assistant programs. She has announced her retirement after 19 years of service. And I want to wish Kylie and Sarah and Terry well in their future endeavors. That's all I have.
Thank you, Mr. Baker. Number 4 on the agenda is consent items. Financial reports. A, approval of minutes from November 9, 2017 board meeting. B, quarterly investment reports. C, financial reports ending November 30th, 2017. D, secretary clerk certificate authorizing administration to enter into a master lease agreement with Dell Marketing LP and Dell Financial Services LLC. Is there a motion to approve the consent agenda items and financial reports?
I move we approve the consent agenda financial reports as reported.
And is there a second?
I second.
All in approval say aye.
Aye.
Anyone that does not approve, that passes unanimously. Mr. Curley, do I need a motion to move item 6 up in front of 5, or are we okay just to do it?
You have that prerogative, you can move it.
What's that?
You can move it.
Okay, well, we're going to move number 6 up in front of number 5, which is consideration and possible action, ratification of negotiated best value respondent contract for the Presidential Search Services. Mr. Curley.
Earlier today, we had a selection committee meeting, and I have made comments about the fact that the selection committee and the board of trustees are the same. So we have spoken with ourselves and agree among ourselves, and have spoken with the group from TASB, which was the best value respondent, yeah, thank you, best value respondent, and have been filled into the details of how they plan on doing the process, pursuing the process of selection, and we have discussed the contract and have arrived at an agreeable position on that contract. So, and we're now at a point of where we would look to ratifying that contract.
All right. If everyone will listen up, I'm going to read a motion, and I'm going to make this motion that this be approved. This motion be approved by the board. The motion is the search firm selection committee has recommended that the Board of Trustees ratify the contract that has been negotiated by the selection committee with the TASB ESS group from Austin, which would authorize the chairman of the Board of Trustees to sign that contract on behalf of Weatherford College, and furthermore that the selection process of the next president of Weatherford College should proceed. Accordingly, this motion is made that the Board of Trustees ratify the contract as negotiated, authorize the chairman to sign the contract on behalf of Weatherford College, and authorize the selection process to proceed. Is there a second to that motion?
I second.
All in favor say aye.
Aye.
That's unanimous. Thank you very much. I think it would be appropriate to, if there's time, to introduce the 4 people who came from TASB to enter into this negotiation and talk about this. And Mr. Baker, would you?
Absolutely.
And not only that, if someone from TASB would like to make a comment or two, it doesn't, more than one can do that. I know you want to get on the road, so let's keep it short.
Well, I'd like to introduce Butch Felkner, Marion Strauss, Rick Howard, and Craig Stockstill from TASB, which is the Texas Association of School Boards.
Would anyone, Butch, would you like to say a few words?
Sure, it's a pleasure. We're excited about this opportunity. This is our team that will be working on your presidential search. We also have an alumni on our staff here, with Craig Stockstill, having been a former student here and a Weatherford hometown boy. So it's always good to come home. And so we're glad and delighted to move through this process with you. And it's not a race, it's a journey, and we're going to be on the journey together, and we're looking forward to this opportunity. Thank you so much.
Well, thank you. And
Yeah,
in
thank you.
anticipation of this, I think we've already got some meetings scheduled.
That is correct.
We've got media here, so that would be good to tell them where we're progressing to.
Right, we've already got some meetings scheduled with the staff and faculty right after the holidays, and then we have some educational foundation meetings scheduled at the end of January, and inside that, those dates will be multiple opportunities for folks around not only Weatherford, but also in neighboring communities that we'll be reaching out to and trying to get as many folks involved in this process, as well as there will be an online survey going on the entire time that will be running that folks can contribute online as well. So that's all going to happen within the next several weeks.
Well, thank you very much. Anyone else? Marion, would you like to say anything?
Just, we're delighted and looking forward to working with all of you. And I think it'll be a great process. You're going to have some great applicants.
Well, thank you. And I don't want to put Mr. Stockstill on the, under the gun here. Mr. Stockstill, do you have anything you'd like to say?
My concern is you said keep it short.
Well, we
And
need
I could
that.
go on forever about this community and this college, but I'm so proud to be a part of the team. You've got a good group of people here, and we're going to work with you as a team to get the best leader you can find. The two things have changed since 1968. I was one of the first groups to get to occupy this campus. The buildings are just immaculate and wonderful, and see a lot of change. One thing that hasn't changed is the wind. It's still
It's always.
but it's a good wind.
Well, thank you. Y'all, if y'all need to get on your way, please head on out. Thank you for your help.
Thank you so much. Appreciate it.
Thank you. Good to see y'all. Take care.
See you soon.
All right, moving to item 6 on the agenda, it would be consideration possible action of the 2016-2017 financial audit. That would be Kathy Williams.
Very good. Good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen. I'm Kathy Williams, a partner with Snow Garrett Williams. I'm going to take you through just a few pages inside your audit reports. I think you all have bound copies, and I'll try to give you some page numbers. They'll be slightly different if you're looking at it online. But I'll do my best to keep us all on the same pages. And I won't go through, I mean, we've got 80, I don't know, maybe not that many pages. I promise not to take you through all those pages. We're just going to hit a few highlights, and I'll be glad to try and answer any questions that you have. If you'll turn now to page 3, you'll find the independent auditor's report, and I believe that'll be page 6 on the PDF file. They'll all be about 3 pages more than the number I say. On page 3, you'll find the independent auditor's report. It states there, that top part, that this is the report on the financial statements for Weatherford College for the fiscal years ending August 31st, 2017 and 2016. It goes through management's responsibility and the auditor's responsibility. And then on the top of the next page, it states our opinion, on the top of page 4, where it says there that in our opinion, the financial statements are presented fairly in all material respects as of August 31st, 2017 and 2016, and for the years then ended in accordance with generally accepted accounting principles. They're busy. So that is that clean or unmodified opinion that you want to see as a board. You know, it's not as bad as, there's one audit report that I always go and present, and the train track is like right there, and it never fails. As soon as I stand up, this train comes flying through and blaring its horn.
We're just putting you to the test.
That's right, that's right. If you'll turn now over to page 12, which will be page 15 on your PDF files. On page 12, we start with your financial statements, your statements of net position. This first page of this, it's like your balance sheet. It states there you've got your assets primarily on this page. Total assets towards the bottom or middle of the page were just over $89 million at the end of August of 17, compared to 87.9 or close to 88 million the year before. So an increase of just over $1 million in total assets. And that included in your current assets, the top section of this financial statement. Current assets increased almost 10%, or just over $3 million, and most of that was in your cash and cash equivalents, as well as accounts receivable. And then your non-current assets decreased almost $2 million, and that's primarily due to depreciation. Your capital assets, that includes your depreciation, so that's why you see that decrease there. When you put those two things together, it was an increase of just over $1 million in total assets. On the next page, you have the second page of your statement of net position that includes your liabilities and your net position or equity of the college. Total current liabilities increased just slightly, just over $556,000, from $11.8 million to $12.3 million for your current liabilities. And then your total non-current liabilities actually decreased by about just over $900,000, and that's primarily due to payments on your notes payable and your bonds payable. And then there at the bottom of the page, your total net position increased from $55.2 million at the end of August of 16 to $56,484,057 at the end of August of 17. So an increase of about 2.3%, or $1,280,000. So a very good, healthy, solid increase in your equity or net position for the college. If you'll turn now over to page 15, or page 18 if you're looking at it on the PDF file. On page 15, you'll find the statement of revenues, expenses, and changes in net position for the college. You'll see there your total operating revenue for 2017 was $15,148,888 compared to $16.1 million the year before. That was a decrease from the prior year, but there are several items there. Even though tuition and fees was increasing slightly, there were some decreases in operating grants. Both federal, federal, state, and local had some decreases in the grant funding there. And you also, in 2016, that was a year that a reappraisal was done on some real estate. So you have an increase in fair market value in that 2016 column under auxiliary enterprises that you don't have for this year. Your operating expenses increased in total from $42.2 million to $43.2 million. And almost all of that increase, or the majority of that increase, is in instruction, which, again, that's a positive sign. You know, you're going to have increases in expenses, but it's really good to see that increase in your instruction expenses. And you would expect that as you continue to grow. There were also some increases, just over $200,000 in institutional support and operation and maintenance of plant. So once you take your operating expenses away from your operating revenues, that results in an operating loss, and this is just a required format of this statement by the Texas Higher Education Coordinating Board, and you have some very large revenue items down there in that non-operating section, because that's where it includes your state appropriations, which increased just about $200,000, for almost $200,000 from the year before, your property taxes or ad valorem taxes, as well as your non-operating federal revenue. So you have significant revenue sources there, and your total net non-operating revenue was $29,345,361 for the year. So when you put that together with the operating loss, it's actually an increase, or a net income number, of $1,280,355. If you'll turn now all the way back to page 62, 65 if you're looking on your computers. On page 62, you'll find the schedule of findings and question costs. And this, I just like to point this out to you because you did federal single audit apply because you expended over $750,000 of federal funding that was received, or federal grant funding. This is really just a good summary. And someone asked me one time in presenting an audit, is this like a report card? And it really kind of is. It's a good way to look at all of it, because it tells you that the auditors, the financial statement, the report there on the financial statements was unmodified, which is a clean opinion. The report that's issued on compliance for major programs, which is your federal programs, that was also unmodified or clean. It tells you what your major federal programs were, which included the student financial assistance programs, as well as TRIO cluster of programs. and it tells you that there were no findings and no question cost. So that's a really good, I just like, it puts it all on one page and kind of summarizes it, so I like to point it out, especially when there are no findings. So that's all that I have on the financial statements. We also issued a management letter, which is really, it just had a few items to remind you in there. On page 2 of that management letter, which is a loose letter in the back of your reports. Just continued enhancement and adherence to strong internal controls. You've had a lot of changes in the last year. The college continues to grow, and we really do have good systems and good procedures in place. So we're just reminding you there to follow those policies and procedures through all departments of the college, and that's just an important oversight function, and it's good to have those procedures and those controls in place. And they, over time, sometimes those need to be adjusted or changed a little bit, but you really do have a lot of good systems in place throughout the college. The last item there, other matters, there are some more changes that are occurring as far as financial statement presentation for next year, and it has to do with the Governmental Accounting Standards Board, which we call GASB. They keep adding statement after statement or rule after rule, and this one is GASB statement number 75, and it has to do with financial reporting for post-employment benefits other than pensions. And that really, it has to do with employee health insurance for retirees. And so there are some new changes that will affect your financial statements for the 2018 fiscal year, and we're really just telling you that that's going to be there. I know Andrea was saying that at a conference they were at, we don't know exactly what those numbers are going to be yet. A few years ago, they added the pension liability into your financial statement, and this is going to be similar to that, in that they're going to add another liability related to retiree health insurance. So we'll just have to work through that next year and see how it will be something that's going to stand out on your financial statements next year. So we just like to tell you it's coming. I wish I had more information, but they've not really given us much information about it yet. So that's all that I have. I know it was a lot of information very quickly, and I really did just hit some highlights, but I would be glad to answer questions if you have them.
Are there any questions for Ms. Williams at this time? Any comments?
I'm so glad there are people like you that can go through this.
Well, we thank you all very much. We appreciate Andrea and her staff, and Dr. Brent. I'm teasing. Dr. Andrea. We really do appreciate them and the people that work with them. We ask a lot of questions. We move in and take over and need a lot of information, but your staff does a fantastic job on getting us information and answering our questions, and we really appreciate that. So, thank you. Thank you for your business. We appreciate it.
Cantrell, you have any comments?
I would also like to add that they are very efficient in coming in and working with us. They brought a large team this time, and we were approximately a week and a half in-house in October.
And that's a lot of information to go through in that amount of time.
Well, I think it says a lot about Andrea and her staff.
It does.
As well. We're lucky
It
to have
does.
them.
You're by far the most prepared when we come to audit your
I
information.
do have a great staff. Rebecca Depew couldn't be here today, but we do have a great staff behind me. I certainly don't prepare all of this, I can tell you that.
Ms. Williams, we really appreciate you and your firm. You have an excellent business and operation there. We really appreciate what you do for us.
Thank you very much. We appreciate y'all as well, and have a Merry Christmas.
Thank you. You can be excused if you need to.
Okay.
Thank you very much, guys.
All right, moving to agenda item number 7, consideration possible action, Parker County Appraisal District Board of Directors.
Mr. Smith, we need to act
Did
on
you
that,
approve?
on that financial.
Okay, I'm sorry. I apologize.
That's okay.
Is there a motion that the financial audit 2016-17 be approved as presented?
I so moved.
Second. Okay. All in favor say aye.
Aye.
That's approved. So now then we'll move to number 7, consideration possible action, Parker County Appraisal District Board of Directors.
Yes, sir.
Dr. Brent.
The Parker County Appraisal District directors, we as a taxing entity, we have votes to choose their board every year, and we need to do that in this meeting. We have, as you can see from your attachments, 295 votes that we can apply. Board, you can choose to put all 295 behind one candidate or split them up between multiple candidates. On the second page under this particular agenda item, you see the list of candidates there. They do not have the ability for write-in candidates, so it needs to be one of these or multiple of these.
How many do we pick off this?
You can pick one or several. It's totally up to you guys.
These are people that are on that board currently.
These are the people that are running for the board. Some of them are on the board currently. I'm not sure.
So, I mean, what if we pick somebody that wasn't on the board and he didn't make the board?
Well, these are your candidates, and you can pick any of them, and they just add up the votes between us and all the other taxing entities in the county. So, and we have 295 votes. We have that number of votes based on our tax rate.
So we need to do this now?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay.
Is there a motion from anyone?
Trent, do you know?
You have glasses?
I know Paul Pascal.
Do y'all have the list of candidates?
Well, we do.
Okay.
We're thinking.
Okay. All right.
So did Mr. Hammonds make any recommendation?
No, ma'am. He did not. This is his board, so
He couldn't.
he probably wouldn't be able to do that.
How many preferences, Trent? What do you think about this? Do you have a name? Okay, just a little name. Okay, well, these two. Yeah. No, they're running for the board. For candidates for the board.
What you got there, Mac? Who you like? Who you got?
We're waiting
on you, dear.
I happen to know several of these people, but I don't want to be the,
Out of the six, are six going to be on the, these are the six for the,
well, we can allocate votes to any one or more of these people that are the candidates.
there's a few on there that I don't know who they are, so.
Well, I understand. I happen to know who Richard Barrett is. I know who John Hinton is. I know who Paul Pascal is. And they're,
I think several of us know Paul Pascal just
No.
who he is and what he does.
Did you say whether any of them are currently on the board?
I'll be honest with you, I know that Paul is currently on the board. I don't know about the rest. I think John Hinton might be on there. They take the top five.
yeah.
Top five vote getters are on the board.
Mr. Curley, do you know?
Any of these?
The only one that I know is Richard Barrett.
The two dudes.
Yeah.
Richard is the father of a young man that was in our law firm, sterling young man. And he's been on the board. He is currently
He's
on the board
now.
And he's very interested in the school and helping us with some of the things that we're trying to get done. So I know he has an interest in the school, but whether or not he's more qualified to be on the board or not, I don't
Right.
know. He's a good guy.
Okay. a motion?
Based on that, I move that we support Richard Barrett.
Okay, is there a second?
Second.
Okay, motion and a second for Richard Barrett. All in favor say aye.
I guess.
Is that approved?
Yes.
All right,
Approved.
all right. Richard Barrett then.
Thank you.
Thank you.
That's done. That's all she wrote.
Agenda item number 8 is reports. Today we have a report from the Weatherford campus police chief, Chief Stone, concerning the Weatherford campus traffic safety plan. Chief Stone, you're already in place.
I'm here. Let's do it. It's time to go. We talked about in earlier board meetings the concern for traffic through our campus, the speed of the traffic more than anything, and pretty much the public using it as a thoroughfare in some of our areas, which is causing some of that extra traffic and speed. So we had looked at where we could put some more speed bumps just to slow people down, to make sure that we get everybody, looking at the road and looking ahead of them. And by the way, speed bumps, I read something on it when I was doing this. They're actually putting more and more out in different places because it's causing people to put their phones and stuff down and not be distracted because they're afraid they're going to hit another speed bump. So they're actually doing dual purpose, and that's real good on this campus. So I was going to show you here what we were looking at. Of course, this is our main campus, and where you see all those arrows, we have 8 speed bumps we want to put in place around campus at this time. And everywhere you see those arrows is where we're looking at, and as you can tell, it's all on the outer edges of our campus, which where we get most of our traffic flow. This right here is the parking lot in front of our building, our office, Oak Couts Hall. We have 3 walkways that come out there, and what we're proposing is putting 2 speed bumps. Those aren't exactly placed right. They'd be on either side of those outer walkways you see coming from that building to slow people down who are coming out into that parking lot to cross over. The next one's our main parking lot, the south end, which is Fine Arts Center, in front of Fine Arts. We're proposing 2 speed bumps there. And you can see in this picture, those are crosswalks that you can kind of see painted in yellow there that are already there. These speed bumps would go just on either side of those crosswalks to slow some of our passer-throughs right through there. Sometimes they come off that hill up by the water tower and they're going a pretty good clip. So that would definitely be a great place to put these speed bumps. Over in the west parking lot, I've got this in several different pictures because we used a drone and we couldn't get it all in there. Thank you, Steve Malley. He's not here, but and so this is up by the water tower. We're proposing one right as you top that hill, right by the Wesleyan Foundation Center.
It's definitely.
Right as they go off the top of that hill, that speed bump's definitely going to wake them up, and it's before they get into any of our parking area truly. And then right down from there, the speed bump that you're seeing down from the walkway coming out from Technology Building, that is actually narrowed down enough there from a sidewalk and that other side that a speed bump will go all the way across. In other words, they're not doing this, that back parking lot, which is what happens now, doing those zigzag motion. So those are 2, and then the other one would be down at the north end of the west parking lot, which is what you're looking at there. And we would propose putting one in right as you turn in off of Park Street, somewhere in that vicinity. And so that's going to slow them down there also. Yes, ma'am. I see a question.
I was saying, are they going to be this high? The ones we've got are about 30 years old, and they used to be kind of high, but now they're...
Right. These are 2 inches to 2 1/4 inches at their height. But they go up at a rate like this, which is going to make you slow down. I mean, you're going to have to slow down. Now, some of our older ones over here, man, they're still rough on you. If you're going fast, you have to go slow over them.
Yeah, they are.
And some of these, and what I'm going to propose as far as if we move on forward with this is they have some real nice heavy-duty rubber ones now that are plastic, and that red and yellow that you see is very visible, and it actually, if something goes wrong with one, you can replace it. They're reasonably inexpensive to replace. And they're real heavy duty, and I think they'll last just as long, but
I like the fact that they give you a whole lot more color there for people going through to see them, to actually see that they're coming up. Of course, with this also will come signage. We'll put up some speed bump sign on the west parking lot. I would propose that we put a no through traffic sign with the speed bumps. I think the west parking lot's going to cause a lot of our passer throughs to go somewhere else once we get these up, because it's going to be too much for them. It's not much of a shortcut anymore when you can go around the block and not go over 10 speed bumps. Actually, just speed 4. So this is the north parking lot, and right out here in front of us, pretty much right behind you, would be where I'd like to put our last one, just to slow them down coming up around this corner here, and getting them in, feeding into this parking lot. And that's really what we looked at and what we saw would benefit us the most. Any questions? Comments? Concerns?
What about budget? Is it in the budget to do this?
It is not in the budget to do this. And this is shooting at the hip, but what I looked at prices on those things and what, probably looking at under $3,500 to do all this. So
We can take care of that.
Yeah, that's,
Okay, so it doesn't have to be a huge budget item.
No, ma'am.
We can take care of that through major repair.
I think it's a good step, really.
I do too, and thank you for being interested in it and asking us to look at it, because I'm definitely interested in it.
Piece of my nose.
Yeah, over in the back lot. Yes, ma'am.
Chief, thank you. Any other comments or questions for the chief?
thank you.
Thank you much, Chief Taylor. Number 9 is future agenda items and meetings. A, approval of 2018-19 academic calendar. Mr. Baker.
Yes, sir. That'll be a future agenda item for January, and we've been actually talking to the faculty about that calendar quite a bit and received some input from them on some changes for the calendar, so we'll bring that to you in January. And obviously, it looks like we'll have TASB back in January as well to speak to y'all at our next meeting.
Now we're on number 10, announcements. Mr. Baker.
Yes, sir. Tonight we do have our employee awards dinner. I hope several of y'all are coming. I know several of you are. It's going to be a great night. 6:30 at the Springs. Of course, our college is closed for the Christmas holidays after next week. We're going to have a half day next Friday, and then after that, 2 weeks off. So we'll reopen on January the 8th. And then after that, we'll hit into our spring semester. We'll have basketball games immediately on the 8th and the 10th, and we'll hit the ground running.
Anything else?
No, sir.
All right. Is there a motion to adjourn? I make the motion. Is there a second?
Second.
All in favor say aye. We're adjourned.
Thank y'all for your extra time today.